Yo, 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 this is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, the artist team's called Grunt, and this is Pokemon Masters EX. Guys, welcome to my sync pair analysis video dubbed November Sync Pairs. Who to scout for? Now before, when I used to do this, I used to do two parts in one video. Basically, first part is discussing each one in detail. And, you know, a brief overview of their stats, their kit, and whatsoever they have, their sync grid. And in part 2, I compared them with other sync pairs and stuff like that. This time in this video, I'm only going to do part 1. Part 2 is gonna be in separate videos individually, just to, you know, get this video out to you guys as quickly as possible. And in part 2, in this week, or starting this month, I would be doing numbers. Some of my fellow peeps at Discord volunteered to work on DPS calculation. So thank you for that. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Bernard, for volunteering to do that. And yeah, so basically, this is the video that I worked the hardest on, even harder than the gem count video. So I would appreciate it if you'd give this a thumbs up, because these thumbnails and stuff, screens, are not easy to do. And thank you to Absol-utely for the DATAMINE and stuff, because, you know, hard work goes into the DATAMINE process as well. And if you want to check out the DATAMINE for yourselves, you can click on the description. The link is over there. And I want to give a huge shout out to all the members of my channel up there once again for the continued support, especially this month when YouTube has been particularly rough to us PokeTubers. And also in my channel, the revenue has been pretty low this month. So thank you so much, because without your help, I would be in a much worse condition right now. Anyway, guys, give this a thumbs up right now. Share this to your friends and subscribe if you haven't, because if you've been watching this and you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? A lot of people are not subscribed. Subscribe now. So yeah, intro is done. This is the November sync pairs Hoop Scout 4. We have 6 different sync pairs coming starting tomorrow. First one is the Diantha, or special costume Diantha. By the way, starting here on, in this video at least, I would be referring each one, instead of special costume, I will be calling them cosplay. So Cosplay Diantha, Cosplay Hilda, Cosplay Guzma, and Cosplay Jasmine, just to make things a little bit easier. And then we have the rerun of Champion Iris and normal Diantha's banner happening on November 9 until November 23. So Diantha, Cosplay Diantha, Cosplay Hilda, Cosplay Guzma, and Cosplay Jasmine is separated by 1 week each. And thing here is all of them are considered as seasonal sync pairs. Seasonals meaning limited time sync pairs, meaning there's a tiered scout for paying players. That's 20,200 gems for one surefire copy of the seasonal. And at tier 5, after scouting tier 5, you have a great scout ticket, which fortunately, much fortunately, after 11 dead tier 5 shafts, we have broken our world record. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Breaking the world record. Finally gotten. Fall. Caitlyn at tier 5. Great ticket scout. So, again, October 29, November 4, November 11, November 18. 2 of them, that's Cosplay Diantha and Cosplay Hilda, have more than a month to stay. Cosplay Guzma, slightly less than 1 month. Cosplay Jasmine, 1 week less. And then there is November 9 to November 23, around 2 or 3 weeks for the two of them, combined Pokefair Scout. So if you are, for a bird's eye view, there's a 7% chance of getting a 5-star with Cosplay Diantha, Cosplay Hilda, Cosplay Guzma, and Cosplay Jasmine. Meanwhile, there's a 10% chance if you're aiming for this banner. And if you guys haven't seen my DATAMINE video, on November 25, we will be able to do a multi-pull times 11. That's times 11, one multi-pull for 25 non-paid gems. 25, not 250, not 2,500, 25 gems for one multi-pull. There's no limited time unit in that multi-pull. I think Alistair is there. I think Signasuit, Erica and Signasuit Mistine's there. I'm not sure if the Rock is there, but we can get a free, technically a free 25 gem multi-pull. 11 Scout on November 25. So, better log in on November 25. Okay, now that we have kind of talked about each one in short, by the way, Diantha or Cosplay Diantha is Tech, Cosplay Hilda is Strike, Cosplay Guzma is Strike, and Cosplay Jasmine is Tech. Alright, support. The normal Diantha is Strike, Champion Iris is Tech. So again, Tech, Strike, support, Strike, Tech. Let's do this. Starting with Cosplay Diantha. If you see the screen, I'll show everyone the finest acting and battling I have to offer. Congratulate yourselves. You just got Cosplay Diantha. And let's enjoy her sync grid right now. Or rather, sync move right now. Sorry guys, I kind of... Again. I kind of turned off the sound. Let me play the sound for you guys. Here we go. Poor Lucario. Justice for Lucario, as usual. Anyway, she gets a Sacred Sword and Aura Sphere. And if you actually have, Cobalion, don't mistake this. Cobalion has Sacred Sword. This guy, Keldeo, has Secret Sword. They work differently. Sacred Sword ignores the opponent or the target's stats or raise stats. I think raise stats, they ignore it. Secret Sword, on the other hand, is like Mewtwo's Psy Strike, which deals damage based on the target's defense rather than special defense. So if you're fighting against an opponent that is especially special defense, high special defense, you can use Sacred Sword and, you know, focus on the defensive stats on the opponent rather than special defense. There's one sync pair later, that's Jasmine and Celesteela, with very, very high special defense, but pretty low defense. So that's one situation you want to use Secret Sword on. And by the way, Diantha's Secret Sword and Aura Sphere are special attack moves. But Secret Sword is like a physical attack, kind of is technically like a physical attack move. And then Aura Sphere never misses. Secret Sword is a 4-move gauge attack. Aura Sphere is a 2-move gauge attack. And then she also has move gauge boost, which is not exactly the best. Charges the user's move gauge by 3. Strike True, on the other hand, has 1 MP only and raises your users, or raises the special attack plus 4 and maximizes your critical hit rate immediately and gives you a regen effect, which is pretty good. Special attack plus 4, critical hit rate plus 3, gradual healing or regen. And then Shining Valor Fighting Beam over here Deals damage based on the target's defense once again instead of special defense, something like Secret Sword. And the higher your defense is, the stronger your sync move will be. How do you raise your defense? Armor Leech, Mind Leech, Speed Leech. These are Diantha's passive skills and they are amazing. Every time you attack the enemy, you deduct 1 defense stat, 1 special defense stat, and 1 speed stat from the opponent and give it to you, yourself. So the opponent -1 defense, -1 special defense, -1 speed. Meanwhile, Diantha +1 defense, +1 special defense, +1 speed. Now, you know, we have quite few, not too many sync pairs that can lower special defense. A lot of sync pairs that can lower defense. And this, I think Diantha pairs up very, very, very well with Champion Iris. Champion Iris lowers the opponent's attack stat and special attack stat. And if you combine that with Diantha, you can lower defense, special defense, and speed, what's missing from Champion Iris. And if you combine them both, use them both together, you have the perfect debuffing team. This is a surefire lower stat, not like Signasuit Leon. Signasuit Leon can lower more stats, 7 stats actually. But Signasuit Leon only has a 50% chance of lowering 7 stats in one attack. But you're lowering 3 different stats in one attack for sure by using Diantha. And you know, you can just use Aura Sphere so that your move never misses. And that's only a 2 move gauge attack rather than using Secret Sword. Probably just debuff the opponent first using Aura Sphere. Debuff, debuff, debuff. Maximize your defense, maximize your special defense, maximize your speed stat. And then, you know, the higher your defense stat is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be because of that built-in multiplier. So, I think one of the best moves or best lucky skills to give her is Critical Strike 2 because, you know, you can maximize your critical hit rate immediately with 1 strike through. And since she can maximize her defense and special defense as well, I think she will make a pretty decent tanker if you're able to maximize the stats. And as a tanker, you might want to give her Vigilance so that she will not be hit by critical hits and be able to kind of, you know, work your way until the end of the battle without fainting. So, yeah, these are her sync grid things. At 1 out of 5, you get Stalwart. Special defense cannot be lowered. At 2 out of 5, you get a Move Gauge Refresh 9. I normally don't put Move Gauge Refresh, but for Move Gauge Refresh 9, I think I have to put that. So every time you use Move Gauge Boost, instead of charging your Move Gauge by 3, you get to charge it by 4 instead. There's Move Gauge Boost MP Refresh 1 on 2 out of 5, and another Move Gauge, or rather MP Refresh 2 at 3 out of 5, 30% for 3 out of 5, 20% for 2 out of 5. The Strike Through MP Refresh at 2 out of 5 as well. And Unbending, 2 out of 5, defense cannot be lowered. 3 out of 5, Aura Sphere gains access to Staggering 2, which has a 30% chance of making the opponent flinch when you use Aura Sphere on the opponent. So rather than just, you know, lowering the opponent's defense, special defense, and speed, and raising your defense, special defense, and speed, you also have a 30% chance of making the target flinch, which is amazing. We get the Brute Wits, a brand new sync move multiplier. The higher your special defense is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. So now, you know, she's already has a built-in sync move multiplier for defense. This time, for special defense, the higher your special defense is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. She also gets Inertia. The higher her speed is, the stronger her sync move is gonna be. So imagine Brute Wits plus Inertia plus, you know, the built-in sync move multiplier for defense kicking in. And imagine her making her 6-star EX. That's a 1.5 times multiplier for the sync move. She is gonna be a very, very, very good sync nuker. A very nice sync nuker here. Strike Through ramp up 1 raises your special attack by 1 when your ramp up is successful. Now ramp up can, or rather Strike Through can already increase your special attack by 4. If you get the ramp up 1, it becomes +5 instead. And then she also gets Tough Cookie at 3 out of 5. The higher your defense is, the stronger your Secret Sword and Aura Sphere is gonna be. So yeah, nice multipliers for the Diantha and nice kit for the Diantha. I like it. I just don't like that, you know, they're promoting more outfits rather than including sync pairs that, or including characters that have not yet been introduced in the game. So kind of expected the Diantha to get an alternate outfit since the Diantha has not been available for quite some time. So I kind of expected the Diantha to somewhat get a seasonal outfit, but not this way. Not this way. Anyway, that was the Diantha. Let's move on to the next one, which is Cosplay Hilda and Diantha. Now, by the way, Keldeo and Diantha are both mythical sync pairs. And mythical sync pairs, mythical Pokemon rather. And basically they're slightly rarer than legendaries. Mythical Pokemon are kind of like, you can only obtain them through events in the main Pokemon games and stuff. So just keep that in mind. So I'm gonna stand out and win this battle. If you see this background, congratulations, you got Cosplay Hilda. This is what the sync move looks like. Hilda. The only sync pair in this update with a Mega Evolution. Now, very interesting things happen when she Mega Evolves. Basically, Stone Edge is a 3-move gauge attack. Diamond Storm is a 4-move gauge attack. And Stone Edge critical hits land more easily. Diamond Storm, 50% chance of raising your defense by 2 stat ranks. And Diamond Storm hits all opponents. This is practically like a stronger version of Rock Slide. And we have an AoE attacker for rock types. That's either Raihan's Rock Slide or Emmet's Rock Slide. Now we have Diamond Storm. Stronger version of Rock Slide, I think. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Emmet has hit the gas 5, which makes Rock Slide instead of 3-move gauge becomes a 4-move gauge attack. Hilda is the opposite of Emmet. But these are the passive skills of Hilda before she Mega Evolves. Head Start 1, Head Start 1 reduces your sync move countdown by 1. The very first part of the battle. Tough Cookie, the higher your defense is, the stronger your attacks are. And again, you can raise your attack stat or defense stat by using Diamond Storm. Has a 50% chance of raising your defense +2. Swag Bag 1 raises the chances of raising your stats. So this goes well with Diamond Storm, has a higher percent chance of raising your defense stat. When she Mega Evolves, this is what happens. Your attack stat goes up to 400 plus. Your speed stat go up to 358. By the way, these are level 135 stats. And The passive skill, Head Start 1, transforms into Fuel Economy 1. Fuel Economy 1 reduces or decreases the amount of move gauge slots the user Pokemon needs to use moves by 1. So Stone Edge, instead of 3 move gauge, becomes a 2 move gauge attack. Diamond Storm, instead of 4 move gauge, becomes a 3 move gauge attack. Now, this does not decrease or increase the damage of Stone Edge and Diamond Storm. It only reduces the move gauge requirement. So you'll be able to use Stone Edge faster, Diamond Storm faster, and it's interesting because this is a brand new passive skill and I kind of like it. For a sync pair like this, again, Shine On, or rather, you can raise your attack stat using X attack. Shine On raises your speed and accuracy by 2 stat ranks and maximizes your critical hit rate. So for her, who can raise her critical hit rate to maximum, again, Critical Strike 2 might be a good choice for this one. And since she can raise her defense stat on her own to maximum, if you want to make her a physical tanker, might be feasible if you give her vigilance so that she will not be hit by critical attacks or critical hits. Her sync grid over here, at 1 out of 5, she gets Sand Shelter, protects the user from damage from a sandstorm. Shine On MP Refresh 2, again, Shine On raises your speed and accuracy to +2. And if you get Shine On MP Refresh, you can raise your accuracy and speed by a little bit more. At 2 out of 5, you get Double Down 5 if the opponent is weak to rock-type moves. You will be able to deal 50% more damage using your sync move. Stone Edge Critical Strike 1. If your Stone Edge lands a critical hit, you will be able to power up your Stone Edge even more. X Attack MP Refresh 3. 2 Sync Nuke Tiles at 3 out of 5, you get Adrenaline 1, you get Diamond Storm Ramming Speed. The higher your speed stat is, the stronger your Diamond Storm becomes. And she also gets Fast Track 9 every single time you attack. You raise your speed stat. So this goes very well with Diamond Storm, Ramming Speed. Impervious stats cannot be lowered. Super Sinker, if you use a sync move for the first time, your next attack will have the super effective plus next. So if the opponent is weak to rock type moves, you can use Super Sinker, or rather you can benefit from this one. Sync Regen, when you use a sync move, you will get a regen effect next. And Towering Force is another brand new sync move multiplier. The higher your defense is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. So she gets 2 multipliers, or rather up to 3 multipliers for her sync move. One is Super Sinker, but Super Sinker probably will happen for a normal attack rather than the sync move, because you can get this effect after using a sync move. You will get the super effective up next effect. Double Down 5, the opponent is weak to rock type moves, it becomes stronger. Towering Force, the higher your defense is, the stronger your sync moves are. So a very, very nice sync pair, very strong. I want to know how her damage compares with Emmet, probably. She does not get any multipliers from Sandstorm, but she gets to defend herself from Sandstorm using Sand Shelter. But yeah, interesting sync pair, high attack stat, and Fuel Economy 1 just allows you to hit the opponent much faster, especially when compared to Emmet, where you have to wait, because all of Emmet's attacks are 4 move gauge attacks. So that's a bummer for Emmet. So with that said, that's done. Let us move on to Guzma and Buzzwole over here. I'll rip that victory away from you if it's the last thing I do. November 11 until December 9. This is what his sync move looks like. I find his outfit quite weird, to be completely honest. Sorry, Big Boss. Sorry, Big Bad Boss Guzma. I feel that your outfit is... I don't know. I mean, Buzzwole is a fitting Pokemon for this guy, but seems quite weird. Like a try-hard sub. Anyway, very interesting sync pair in the form of Guzma. None of his attacks have 100% accuracy. In fact, Dynamic Punch, if I'm not mistaken, has 50 accuracy only. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not looking at the stat sheet right now. And Hammer Arm also does not have 100% accuracy. So if Dynamic Punch hits, it's a 4 move gauge attack, and a 4 move gauge, you know, it's hard to charge that. Leaves the target confused when you use Dynamic Punch when you're successful. And when Hammer Arm is successful, you get to lower the opponent's speed by 1. Trainer move X Sure Hit applies the Sure Hit next effect to the user. So basically, you get to surely hit the enemy, 2 MP. Show No Mercy maximizes your attack stat, maximizes your critical hit rate, lowers your defense and special defense by 1. Maximizes your attack stat and critical hit rate. That's more than good enough. Passive skill, Victory Charge 2, charges the user's move gauge by 2 when it knocks out an opponent with a move. So it has to be Guzma that knocks out the opponent before Victory Charge 2 will kick in, and it will charge your move gauge by 2. I think there's a better version of this one. Let me just check Fall Hilbert over here. I think it's Carry on 1. Oh wait, no, it's Spur on 4. Charges the user's move gauge by 4 each time another Pokemon on the field of play faints. I prefer Spur on 4, or at least Spur on 2 of Fall Hilbert rather than Victory Charge 2, because for Fall Hilbert, any Pokemon that faint, either it's your Pokemon or the opponent's Pokemon, and anyone to defeat that Pokemon, you will be able to charge your move gauge. In the meantime, Guzma, you have to use Buzzwole to defeat the opponent before your move gauge charges up. So that's a shame. Super Sinker applies the super effective up next to the user the first time your sync move is used in battle. This is very similar to what we saw earlier with Cosplay Hilda. And Tenacity 3 is a very, very, very interesting thing. It's basically the first time I'm seeing this. Increases the user's physical moves up next effect by 3 ranks when its attack move misses. Now, I've not seen anything that exceeds 1 stat rank. For example, I've seen super effective up next, but not super effective up next, and another super effective up next. Will physical move next up next effect, can this stack? Because if I understand this properly, it means that you are getting 3 physical moves up next effect each time you're able to miss an attack. And how do you miss an attack? Do not use X-Sure Hit. Wait on the chance of missing Dynamic Punch. There's a 50% chance that you'll be missing Dynamic Punch. And the moment you miss, you get 3 physical moves up next. And that way, you get a ×3 multiplier by missing an attack. We have to test this before I can say how physical move next plus effect, works. But if this actually works the way I think it is, if it's like super effective up next effect, and you can stack this 3 times, and not to mention, his passive, his Sync Grid allows him at 3 out of 5 to get another one, Tenacity 1. Increases the user's physical moves up next effect by one rank when its attack move misses. So if you get Tenacity 1, this adds up to Tenacity 3. Your physical move up next effect will raise by 4 ranks when you miss an attack. That's a times 4 multiplier. Or however this is computed, I don't know. I'm just curious how strong. Guzma might have one of the strongest and one of the highest sync move multipliers. And he might actually be the strongest sync nuker in the game if this works according to how I think this will work. Haymaker, the higher your attack stat is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. And again, just by using one Show No Mercy, your attack stat goes up to maximum already and your critical hit rate goes up to maximum. Fuzzy Strike 5, if the opponent is confused, your sync move gets powered up. So that's Fuzzy Strike 5. There's Haymaker. There's Super Victory. If you are able to defeat an opponent, you can get that super effective up next effect. 4 multipliers. Or rather, Fuzzy Strike 5, Haymaker, super effective up next, and Tenacity 1 or 3. Or at least 3. For a striker, we don't see a lot of these multipliers, guys. This is a striker. And strikers normally have like 1, 2 multipliers, rarely reaching 3 multipliers. But this guy can have Fuzzy Strike 5, Haymaker, super effective up next. Physical moves up next. Another physical attack move, physical moves up next. Another physical moves up next. Another physical moves up next. 7 multipliers? This guy? Granted, this is gimmicky. Tenacity 3 has to miss an attack. But if this works the way I think this might work, he might not just be the strongest striker, but also the strongest sync nuker in the game. And speaking of strikers, you know, once you're 6-star EX, you hit every single opponent in the field. So I'm very curious how this guy works. And, you know, I heard a lot of you talking about accuracy ceiling at 1 out of 5. The user's accuracy cannot be raised. And I'm like, when I first look at this without analyzing him, I'm like, why? Why would you want to give this to him? Now I know why. Because you want to miss to get the multiplier. And the multiplier Tenacity 3 plus Tenacity 1 might be a super strong combination of I don't know what, how strong this guy can be. 2 out of 5, you get Dynamic Entry, Sure Hit next effect, Dynamic Punch Consolation Prize. If you miss, you get to regain 1 move gauge back. So basically, imagine Dynamic Punch is a 3 move gauge attack instead of a 4 move gauge attack. Headstrong attack cannot be lowered. Show No Mercy, 30% chance of restoring MP. Extra Hit MP Refresh 2, 30% chance of restoring MP. 1 out of 5, you also get a Sure Hit, Extra Hit MP Refresh 1. And yeah, 3 out of 5, you get a multiplier for Confusion for Dynamic Punch if the opponent is confused. You get Super Duper Effective 1 if the opponent is weak to fighting type moves. And you get Sync Freebie, free move next after using a sync move. I'm just curious how he works. But again, if I think that he works the way that I think he'll work, he might actually have the highest sync move damage out of every single sync pair in the game. Every single sync pair in the game. I'm not a DPS person. I haven't checked how my, you know, peeps over at Discord have computed this. I'll check it out later. So if you're interested in seeing that, and seeing some computations, check out my individual analysis on these sync pairs, coming slowly in the next coming days. Next, Jasmine, or Cosplay Jasmine and Celesteela. Nobody gets past me. If you see this, congratulations, you got Jasmine. And by the way, Buzzwole and Celesteela are both Ultra Beasts. They're, I'm not sure you want to consider them Pokemon. Ultra Beast Pokemon. Probably Pokemon as well. So, this is what the sync move animation looks like. Steel type rocket ship launch, rocket launcher, something. This is a support sync pair, the only support sync pair we have in this update. We have Absorb 1 move gauge only, Flash Cannon 3 move gauge. Absorb, you get to recover a little bit of HP. Flash Cannon, 10% chance of lowering the opponent's special defense. We got X Regen All for the trainer move, applies gradual healing effect to all allied sync pairs. Steal Yourselves raises the defense of all allied sync pairs by 3, raises critical hit rate of all allied sync pairs by 1. You can use this 2 times to raise the special defense to maximum for everyone and raise everyone's critical hit rate by another 1. And her passive skill, Team Shot Entry. At the start of the battle, you get to raise your critical hit rate by 1 immediately. So by using 2 Steal Yourselves, you get to maximize the critical hit rate of everyone, which is a good thing. Group Morale Boost 9 raises the special attack of all allied sync pairs by 1 when you use a move. So if you use Absorb, if you use Flash Cannon, every single time you use it, everyone's special attack increases by 1 stat rank. Not 10%, 20%, 30%, but 100% chance of raising everyone's special attack by 1. Safety Net, like Signature Blue, like I think 3 out of 5, or was it 2 out of 5, Full Caitlyn. When you use a sync move, I think Red also has this classic Red. You can have an endure effect for everyone upon using a sync move. Now, she already has Vigilance in her grid. So I just gave her, I think I gave her Critical Strike 2 since she can raise her, critical hit rate. Or you can give her Electric Guard since she's weak to electric type attacks. And Electric Guard will get to lower the damage when she receives damage from an electric attack. Nothing really much to say about Jasmine, so let us quickly move to her sync grid. 1 out of 5, you get Antitoxin, no poison. Sand Shelter, no damage from Sandstorm. Steal Yourselves, MP Refresh 2, not exactly really helpful since you can maximize your special defense and critical hit rate already. X Regen All, MP Refresh 2, 30% chance of bringing back MP of X Regen All. Quick Cure removes Confuse, Flinching, Trap Conditions. Stalwart, special attack cannot be lowered. Survivor Mentality reduces damage when you are hit by a special attack when you are low on HP. And Vigilance, this is what I was talking about. 2 out of 5, you already have Vigilance. You will be protected from critical hits. Now 3 out of 5, this gets interesting. Absorb. When you use Absorb, you have a 50% chance of lowering the opponent's special defense stat. And if you use Flash Cannon, you have a 100% chance of lowering the opponent's special defense stat. So you have a choice. Do you want to use a 1 move gauge attack to have a 50% chance of lowering the opponent's special defense? Or do you want to use a 3 move gauge attack for a 100% chance of lowering the opponent's special defense? It's up to you when you get Absorb Mind Games 4 or Flash Cannon on a roll 9. She also gets a move gauge refresh 9 on Absorb, so basically that's a free Absorb every single time. Catalyst, when you use a sync move, you get a free or a move gauge acceleration effect. Steal Yourselves, when you use Steal Yourselves, your special attack stat goes up for everyone. But I think you don't exactly need this since Group Morale 9 already raises your special attack stat every single time you use a move on the opponent. Team Triage Tank 2. Every single time you attack the opponent, you have a 30% chance of restoring. Wait, no, that's Team Fist Bump, sorry. Every single time you get attacked, you have a 30% chance of restoring everyone's HP by a little bit. And Unyielding 2, when you have an Endure effect and you are hit, you have 1 HP, you're hit by, the opponent's attack, you have a 30% chance of bringing back another Endure effect. Wait a minute, how do you get an Endure effect? Oh, Safety Net. Safety Net gives you an Endure effect, so you have a 30% chance of applying Endure effect again and again and again and again for Jasmine, as long as the opponent does not use a sync move. Now, Jasmine. When I compare Jasmine to Fall Caitlyn, I'm kind of having a hard time to decide who is better. I mean, check out that special defense stat, guys. That is a high special defense stat at 327. Just to quickly check, I want to see Signasuit Blue's special defense stat when he Mega Evolves. When he is not 6-star EX. Signasuit Blue, when he Mega Evolves, is at level 140, his special defense is 357. Jasmine does not have any Mega Evolution at level 135. Her special defense is at 327. That's pretty amazing. And then, every single time you attack, you get to raise your team special attack stat by 1. You get to quickly raise your special defense using Steal Yourselves. You get to recover HP by using Team Triage Tank, or by having the opponent hit you by having Team Triage Tank. And she works as a tech unit as well with Mind Games 4 of Absorb, as well as Flash Cannon on a roll 9. Lower the opponent's special defense more and more and more and more and more. Interesting sync pair. Low defense, very high special defense. It's kind of hard for me to recommend her as of the moment, but stay tuned for my individual analysis video if you are very curious as to how, because I haven't exactly compared her with other sync pairs yet. So until then, stay tuned. Let's move on to some repeating sync pairs, starting with Diantha. Diantha is coming on November 9, ends on November 22, and I'm just gonna quickly breeze through this, enjoy the sync move first. And that's the sync move of Diantha, guys. Now, this is the complete opposite of Hilda with Fuel Economy. This one is Hit the Gas 5. So Dazzling Gleam normally just 2 move gauge becomes a 3 move gauge attack. Moonblast normally 3 move gauge becomes a 4 move gauge attack. Moonblast has a 30% chance of lowering the opponent's special attack stat. And then Time to Shine raises your special attack and special defense by 2. And if it's Mega Gardevoir already, which is this one, raises or charges your move gauge by 3. Before Mega Evolution, she gets Mutually Assured, which basically if you are hit by the opponent and you become poisoned, badly poisoned, paralyzed, or burned, the opponent will also have the same status infliction or status condition inflicted upon them. After Mega Evolution, Mutually Assured changes into Fairy Power 5, which powers up your Fairy type attacks, Dazzling Gleam and Moonblast, but not the Sync move. So, Lucky Skill, Critical Strike 2 might be the best for this thing. And she gets 2 multipliers, as I was saying earlier with Guzma. Normally, you know, strikers only get like 1, 2 multipliers, but not 3. Rarely reaching 3. Never exceeding 4 if I'm not reaching 4 if I'm not mistaken. So Guzma is kind of surprising for me. She gets Devastation. The lower your opponent's special attack is, the stronger your sync move is, and Double Down 2 if the opponent is weak to Fairy type attacks. Your sync moves get stronger. This is a level 140 Diantha, by the way. The others are level 135. So she gets 6 sync Nuptials if you're going for that. She's one of the strongest Fairy type attackers in the game. Even until now, probably the strongest. I'm not sure if Summer Marnie is stronger than Diantha. I'll have to check on the computation thing. But I will not be working on a separate video for Diantha since she has already been in the game for quite a while. Again, Diantha and Champion Iris share the same Pokefair Scout banner together. So it might be worth it, since there's a 10% chance of getting a 5-star, and there's a 1.5% chance of getting either Diantha or Champion Iris, which you can see her sync move animation right now. Now, as I was saying earlier, guys, Champion Iris might be the perfect partner for Cosplay Diantha, because Breaking Swipe hits everyone and lowers the opponent's attack stat. Snarl hits everyone and lowers their defense stats. Piercing Gaze, meaning your moves will never miss. And Double Drop passive skill, meaning that when the opponent's stat is lowered, instead of lowering 1 stat rank, you get to lower 2 stat ranks instead. Now, my lucky skill, I forgot to mention Defense Crush 2. I gave Defense Crush 2 instead. So every time I'm able to lower the opponent's defense, not only does it hit everyone when I use Breaking Swipe and Snarl, but it lowers special defense stat by 2 levels. And, you know, if I pair her up with Cosplay Diantha, not only am I lowering the opponent's attack, special attack, I'm also lowering the opponent's defense, special defense, and speed. And I'm increasing my own defense, special defense, and speed with Cosplay Diantha as well. Her sync move, or Champion Iris' sync move multiplier, the lower the opponent's stats are, the stronger the sync move is gonna be. So this pairs up very well. And Power Loving, as her passive skill, works on the attack damage, works on Breaking Swipe, works on Snarl, works on Dragon Rush. Dragon Rush is a 3-move gauge attack that has a 20% chance of making the target flinch. And, you know, there's Trip Up 6 at 3 out of 5, giving you a 7... Never mind. No, wrong. Ignore what I just said. It has a 7% chance of lowering the opponent's speed stat. Not sure. I thought that there was a Dragon Rush aggravation one somewhere, but apparently not. And 3 Heads is a 1 MP or 1 MP trainer move. Gives you move gauge acceleration, reduces sync move countdown, raises your attack by 2, raises your critical hit rate by 1. Normally, if I use Champion Iris, I'm not really able to hit the opponent with critical hits consistently, especially with the sync move. But even without the without critical hit, the sync move can deal massive damage on the opponent. So that's a very interesting thing with Champion Iris. 2 out of 5, you get to power up your dark type moves. Snarl if the opponent is weak to dark type moves. Breaking Swipe, if you're able to land a critical hit, it becomes stronger. Devastation, the lower the opponent's special attack is, the stronger your sync move damage is. Pecking Order, the lower the opponent's attack stat is, the stronger your sync move is. Very strong, very nice combination of multipliers. And once again, if you remember my Who to Scout for video last month and my The Rock analysis couple of days ago last week, I said that I feel that The Rock is a discounted Champion Iris. And I think I'll still hold on to that judgment of mine, that title of his for me. Because I feel that Champion Iris is way better than The Rock in terms of what she does. And now with the addition of Cosplay Diantha, who can also lower speed, and 2 other stats, you know, the usefulness of The Rock is becoming lower and lower. And yeah, that's what I feel, guys. That's what I feel. So we have discussed all these sync pairs. We've discussed about Diantha or Cosplay Diantha. We have discussed Cosplay Hilda, Cosplay Guzma, Cosplay Jasmine, normal Diantha, and Champion Iris. Who is the best? Let's focus on the 4 first, starting with the new cosplay units. These are their stats, guys. So Diantha, Hilda, Guzma, and Jasmine only work on either the attack stat or the special attack stat, never both. The highest damager, the highest stat, the highest attack or special attack stat belongs to Diantha, 423. Meanwhile, the lowest one is the support sync pair, Jasmine at 172. The highest HP is also Diantha, and the lowest HP is Guzma. But then, if you consider almost all the fighting types, I think not just almost, but all the fighting types in the game have really low HP. So keep that in mind. At the defense stats, Guzma has the lowest. That's probably acceptable because he's a striker, and this goes in line with striker defense stats. Same for Hilda, also a striker with low defensive stats as well. Jasmine has tech level defense stat but a massive high special defense stat. Diantha is typical at tech sync pair stat, defense 173, special defense at 173 as well. Speed stat for Diantha is pretty okay, 342. Hilda is the fastest, 358. Guzma is not too bad, 242. Jasmine is pretty slow at 233, but I think it's still faster than Signasuit Blue, who's a little bit lower. And again, these stats are level 135 stats and 5-star stats. If you decide to make them 6-star EX, add 100 to the HP, add 40 to the other stats. So that becomes quite higher. So as you can see over here, stats are not too bad. Jasmine's special attack, I mean, you're gonna use Absorb, which is not gonna recover a lot of HP. You can use Steel Beam, but then, or not Steel Beam, but Flash Cannon. But then every single time you attack using her, the opponent almost always lowers their special defense stat. You get to raise your special attack stat every single time you attack. So every single time you attack, you get to become stronger. Special defense stat really high. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much the stat comparisons. And while stats are not everything, they probably mean a little bit of something, especially with Jasmine over there. But let's move on to their multipliers. The Diantha has Tough Cookie, which is unlocked at 3 out of 5. The higher your defense is, the stronger your attacks are. Sync move multiplier, we have Brute Wits. I think the higher special attack, or rather special defense is, the stronger your sync move damage is gonna be. Built in, the higher your defense is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. And the higher your speed stat is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. Unlock at 3 out of 5. Basically, if your defense is max, most likely your special defense is max. Most likely your speed stat is max as well because of her passive skills, which raise defense, special defense, and speed stat together. So, very nice multipliers, and they're gonna be permanent multipliers unless the opponent decides to lower your stats or use Snatch on you. Cosplay Hilda. We have Ramming Speed on Diamond Storm, which you're able to raise your speed stat to maximum if you have 3 out of 5. What was that again? The one that increases speed. The passive skill that increases speed. Fast Track 9. She gets Fast Track 9 on her passive skill at 3 out of 5. Critical Strike 1 on Stone Edge at 2 out of 5. Super effective up next at 3 out of 5. And Tough Cookie is built in. The higher your defense stat is, the stronger your attacks are gonna be. For her sync move multipliers, you get Double Down 5. If the opponent is weak to rock type moves, your sync move is gonna be stronger. Super effective up next when you're able. You know what? I wanna revisit Hilda right now. How do you do Hilda's thing again? Hilda at 3 out of 5. Super Sinker. So first time you use a sync move, you get a super effective up next. So yeah. Towering Force. The higher defense stat is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. Hilda is a striker. So if you have her 6-star EX, she's gonna be able to hit every single opponent out there. Guzma. It's a very interesting sync pair. Dynamic Punch, Confusion Synergy 1. If the opponent is confused, Dynamic Punch gets stronger. There's Tenacity 3 passive skill. If you're able to miss, you get Tenacity 3 physical attack or physical moves up next. 3 ranks. 3 ranks of this. And then Tenacity 1 at 3 out of 5. So if you miss, if you get this, your physical moves up next will be +4 instead of +3. Get a super duper effective 1 at 3 out of 5 as well. And super effective up next effect if you're able to KO or make an opponent faint using Guzma and Buzzwole. At 3 out of 5, sync move multiplier, Fuzzy Strike 5 if the opponent is confused, you deal more damage. Haymaker, the higher your attack stat is, which you can maximize immediately with his trainer move. Physical attack moves or physical moves up next effect, I think works with both sync moves and attack moves. We'll have to see, but I think this should work with sync moves. And then there's the physical moves up next at 3 out of 5, Tenacity 1. And a super effective up next effect if you're able to KO an opponent. So guys, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 multipliers potentially for a striker. What? What? How much damage is this gonna be? I don't know. Looks amazing. It looks powerful. This might be crazy. I have to test him out. Cosplay Jasmine, guys, does not exactly have any multipliers, but that's typical for support sync pairs. They're there for the support, not for the attack damage. So Cosplay Jasmine does not have anything. So let us take Jasmine out of the equation first and include the other two sync pairs, the Diantha and Champion Iris over here. So the Diantha over here has Fairy Power 5 once she Mega Evolves, Hit the Gas 5, adds 1 move gauge, and increases the damage of, you know, the attacks that you have, Dazzling Beam and Moonblast. 3 out of 5, if the opponent is weak to Fairy type moves, Double Down 2 increases damage. The lower the opponent's special attack is, Devastation works in play. And how do you lower the opponent's special attack stat? Just by using Moonblast. 30% chance of lowering the opponent's special attack stat. Champion Iris over here, Breaking Swipe, Critical Strike 1, Power Loving. The lower the opponent's stats are, the stronger your sync move damage. This is the same as the built-in multiplier. The lower the opponent's stats are, the stronger the sync move damage. Devastation, the lower the opponent's special attack stat is, the stronger, same thing as the Diantha. And Hecking Order, the lower the opponent's attack stat is, the stronger the damage. Champion Iris is one of the strongest sync nukers in the game. I'm curious how she compares with Cosplay Guzma up there, who has way more multipliers than her once Guzma comes out. Ooh, I'm definitely making him 6-star EX. But with the amount of seasonal units coming this month, I don't know what to feel. So, those are the 5 sync pairs. I'm not here to tell you which one to scout. I'm here to present information. And out of these 5, the Diantha, again, summary, can lower every single time you attack the opponent. You lower their defense, special defense, and speed stat, and give it to the Diantha. Hilda, once she Mega Evolves, your attacks need 1 less move gauge, meaning you can attack. Diamond Storm can raise your defense stat. Plus 2 levels, 50% chance. Guzma, gimmicky, but if his gimmick works, you're able to deal massive damage to the opponent. Again, there's no 100% accuracy on his attacks, but you have a sure hit, which allows you to hit the opponent for sure if you use sure hit next. The Diantha, one of the strongest fairy type attackers in the game. Not too fast, quite slow, but very powerful. Champion Iris, a much better Darap personal opinion. Lowers the opponent's attack stat and special attack stat by 2 levels when you use Snarl and Breaking Swipe. And one of my favorite debuffers, especially if the opponent is really irritating, it's like using Getsis, but hitting everyone and choosing 1 stat to reduce instead of 2 stats. Getsis lowers both attack and special attack stat with 1 attack by up to 2 levels. Meanwhile, Champion Iris lowers 2 levels of either attack stat or special attack stat, but hits everyone. So, which one do you prefer? Champion Iris or Getsis? And speaking of Getsis, Getsis might get a 6-star EX soon if the dev letter is hinting towards Getsis for the next villain event. I'm not sure if it's Getsis, but I think it might be Getsis. It might be Rose. I don't think it's Silver. I think it's either Getsis or Rose. So, what about Jasmine, guys? We totally ignored Jasmine. So let me just go back to Jasmine right now. Again, Jasmine over here works as a tanker, or rather works as a buffer as well as a debuffer. Both a buffer and a debuffer. Absorb can lower the opponent's special defense. Flash Cannon will lower the opponent's special defense, especially at 3 out of 5. And every single time you attack the opponent, you get to raise everyone's special attack stat. At the start of the battle, you gain or you give everyone critical hit rate +1. And by using 2 Steel yourselves, you maximize everyone's special defense and maximize everyone's critical hit rate. And then you give everyone regen. And then once you use a sync move, everyone gets an endure status. This is pretty good. Pretty good. Is she the best? I'd argue that Signa's Blue is still the best. I mean, she gets Team Triage Tank. When you're hit by an attack move, you get to have a chance of recovering HP. But this is not like Signa's Blue with Team Fist Bump. If you attack, you have a 30% chance of restoring everyone's HP. This is more on receiving than dealing. Receiving than giving. But she has Unyielding too, which has a chance of triggering unlimited number of times, can get you back and undying, not dying in the battle forever as long as you don't get hit by a sync move. I think she's pretty good, but with all these sync pairs, what do you guys think is the best one? And as always, it's not just about, you know, who's the best one. I'm not here again to force you into choosing what sync pair you want to scout. You should scout, but you should probably scout for your favorites if you want. I think a lot of you will be skipping these 4 sync pairs, but if you're skipping, you know, just keep in mind that December, January, February, they are the seasonals for holiday units, for New Year units, and for Palentine units. So now we have 4 consecutive months of seasonals. I don't know how to suggest to you guys, but I think if you were to ask me, I think that the Diantha is amazing. The Diantha brings in a very nice way to play, can raise your defense, special defense speed. For newer players who want to scout for any of these sync pairs, the one that I would choose for you guys is the Diantha. We've had Blue, we have Emmet, we have Olivia for rock types. Although Hilda is very, very good, I think that you can skip Hilda and go for your rock types instead. Meanwhile, fighting. I would not recommend Guzma for newer players. They might get frustrated at using Guzma. I'm not recommending Guzma for newer players. But if you're a veteran player who wants a fun way to play, Guzma might be the best one to scout out of these, because Guzma's playstyle is really rough and really, you know, risk-taking. Jasmine is a typical support tanker stuff. Out of these 4, Jasmine is the one that does not interest me the most, as well as she has a pretty good kit. But out of these 4, she's the one that doesn't interest me. That interests me the least, rather. But she's pretty good. But I mean, I have a very, very, very high standard for supports right now, especially with so many good supports that came out recently. My standard for support units is extremely, extremely high. So in order to recommend a nice support, it has to reach a certain threshold. And I'm not sure if Jasmine reaches that threshold. But again, those are seasonals. There's a 7% chance of getting them. Or rather, 7% chance of obtaining a 5-star, 2% chance of getting them, And, you know, you can get lucky, you can get unlucky. Just take note that if you get unlucky, 36,600 non-paid gems or 20,200 paid gems if you're going tiered scout. Meanwhile, Diantha and Champion Iris are sharing one banner, 1.5% chance of getting either of them, but 10% chance of getting a 5-star. So if you're aiming for, you know, anything that's more worth it, this banner might be more worth it than the rest. But if I were to choose the best sync pairs here, either Champion Iris or Cosplay Diantha. Champion Iris or Cosplay Diantha might be the best sync pairs here. But that's just me, again, going back. Choose your faves. And again, if you want to listen to a much more in-depth discussion of these sync pairs, tune in to my individual sync pair analysis video coming soon. I'll work on Diantha as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the rest will follow a little bit later. Diantha will be coming before Diantha Sync Pair Scout comes out. So stay tuned for that. If you want me to compare Diantha with some other fighting type sync pairs, see how good she is, stay tuned. In the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this. That has been part 1 of my sync pair analysis video. And this took 1 hour and 11 minutes of non-stop talking with you guys, as well as hours and hours and hours of working on these screenshots. It took much effort, and I would appreciate it if you guys would give this a thumbs up right now. And you know, the more thumbs up you give, this will help with the YouTube algorithm. Share this with more people around the world. That will help this channel grow. So hopefully you help me out with that one. And if you haven't subscribed, one more time, click on the subscribe button. If you want to help me out, send me a super chat or become a member of my channel like those awesome members up there. Thank you especially to Shadow Phil for being a Master Ball tier member for almost 1 year. And all of you other members out there who have been supporting me for the longest time. My longest time supporters, Nick, Blaze. You guys have been 11 months? 10 months? John9019. Also, almost there. I think. Almost. A lot of you. Once you reach 1 year, I have a gift for you guys. So, become a member. Become a member for a year. I'll send you something from the Pokemon Center. With love. Thank you for watching. This is part 1 again of my November Sync Pair Suit to Scout for video. Stay tuned for part 2, individual analysis with numbers, care of my Discord server members, Jack and Bernard. That's it. This is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, the artist team Skull Grunt. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.